Are we live?
Yep, you're live.
Okay. Good morning, Web3 community, and welcome to the November community call for Infura. We got an action-packed community call with tons of guests from Learn Web3 and internally from Truffle, and also we have a special guest to introduce, a new platform advocate for Infura. So we got an action-packed agenda, so let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's welcome Lauren, a new platform advocate who's going to be helping us with DevRel here at Infura. And then next we have Sara, who's going to be talking about how to use IPFS at IPFS Camp. We have Emily Lynn joining us from Truffle. And we also have Clarissa, who's going to be talking about a new, exciting Diligence security tool. And finally, we have Kacie from Learn Web3 DAO, a really great online platform for learning Web3 development. So let's go ahead and invite Lauren to the stage. And go ahead and introduce yourself, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am, as Chris said, the newest platform advocate on the Infura team.
Delicious.
I am so excited. Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yep, we can hear you great.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here. Super excited to get everything started and going. A little bit about me. I grew up in Orlando, Florida, and I'm currently based in Denver, but I will be working from India for the next 3-4 months. So a bit of a time change there, but I graduated college, with a degree in computer science, and I'm currently pursuing my master's degree. So keeping busy. I am a few years deep into the Web3 world, and I'm really excited to now be deep into an industry that's, doing so much cool things and super busy. So I'm really enjoying all this. I'm passionate about education, and I've been working for Girls Who Code for a few years, so I love that. Yeah, so excited to be here, excited to get to know everyone. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lauren. Next up, we're going to be hearing from Sara Feenan, who's a product manager. It's going to talk us through IPFS. Welcome, Sara.
Hi, everyone. Thanks very much. Really excited to be here. My name's Sara, and I work for Infura, and I've been here for around 2 years, actually, now, working on IPFS. So as I'm sure some of you know, we started running public APIs and gateways for IPFS back in 2016. And last year, we fully productized that so that we could give you nice features like a dashboard where you can unpin things from your account and also upload via the dashboard files and directories. So that's just come out this week. So we're very excited to announce that. I want to also talk to you a little bit about IPFS camp that a few of us from the team went to around a month ago now. It was in Lisbon around the same time as Lisbon Blockchain Week. And it was very cool. The first one I'd been to because the last one was pre-pandemic. So that was great to see a lot of the community, people that we've been interacting with, via Slack as fellow operators and things like that. Yeah, the whole experience was great, actually. There was such a good atmosphere at the conference and a really great mix between use cases and the protocol level talks as well. So the use cases, some of the notable ones are really interesting. Heard from Jay Grabner, who's the CEO of Blue Sky, which I'm sure you know is Jack Dorsey's new decentralized social media initiative. Of course, all the work that Protocol Labs continue to do in improving the protocol for IPFS and Filecoin. And the team IPFS Search, who have been indexing all of IPFS since 2016, which is very cool. And various other different use cases like gaming in the metaverse and NFTs and art and decentralized science, DeSci. So And on the protocol side, had various different talks and workshops and deep dives into things like content routing and libp2p privacy and browsers and platforms. So it's really exciting to see how much the tech side and the use case side and the people and community side is expanding with IPFS too. So yeah, I saw some of you have already answered the polls that you were there. So I hope we met. If not, let's try and meet at the next one, and hope to see more of you there. So yeah, to get started with IPFS on Infura, just sign up to an account, start an IPFS project key, and then you can start right from the dashboard there, uploading content into your project and unpinning it and playing around with the API as well to see what you can do. So yeah, really happy to be here and see so many of you on the call today. I love seeing the chat. Once I'm done, I will join in. So please feel free to drop any questions in there and ask a question too. And yeah, please participate in the poll. Love seeing all the results. We love data in product, so bring it on. And if you want to participate in any more of the deeper research, we're constantly looking to speak to people about their use cases and what we can do to help facilitate all of your exciting innovation projects. So cool. One final plug. We're hiring a senior backend engineer. So if that's your skill set and you'd like to work with us, please get in touch. And for the rest, if that's not your skill set, check our jobs board out anyway. And that is it from me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thanks for folks who entered the polls. IPFS has been a really exciting project for a long time, and Infura has been really excited to host it. Thanks so much, Sarah. Next up is going to be Emily Lynn to talk through the Truffle tooling that Consensus has been working on. Emily, you here?
Okay, hi guys, I'm the Truffle developer advocate. Today I wanted to talk about specifically all the great things Infura has done to help Truffle create a better experience. So specifically, if you guys don't know, Infura has been providing a free archive node for Truffle, which allows you to do actually some really cool things, specifically zero config forking. So if you guys have done development before, you might have seen stuff like forking a what do you call it, a network, right? So in this specific case, I've been setting up for a tutorial on how to use push protocol. So think decentralized notifications for a live stream next week. I was running into some issues because I was trying to interact with their contracts that they had deployed, and I wanted to debug through it, right? So all I needed to do was I made this transaction. Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Okay, cool. I made this transaction.
Actually, we can't see your screen.
Oh, shiz. Okay, I never shared it. Ha 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 ha. Okay, cool. That's fine. I didn't do anything important yet. Okay, cool. So specifically, what I wanted to say was I had created this function to unlist an NFT that would notify users about the unlisting through their wallet. And so I have this transaction hash. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So the process for, I guess, debugging a on-chain transaction is you can go to VS Code. And then here I'm in my terminal. So ganache -- fork early. Like I had mentioned, Infura provides a free archive node for Truffle, and that's exactly why we can do this. And then if I go to my debugger, I can just do Truffle debug, and then that transaction hash network girly dev, which is what I had called it in my Truffle config right here. And so what this does is it's going to pull in the contracts from Sourcefy or Etherscan. So this is my local contract. I'm going to set a breakpoint for 184. And then you can go all the way to that. So that's just continuing. And then this is really interesting because it'll actually show you once we get into, this is where I'm calling the push protocol contract. Oh, dang it. I went over it. Let me replay it. The breakpoint. Oh, okay. Whoops. This is what's going. Sorry. I'm getting my what do you call it? Actions confused. Oh, weird. Why isn't it going into it? Dang it. Okay. I'm doing something incorrectly. I don't remember why, but we will just scroll up and you can see where I did it earlier, where essentially I went into the send notification. And it's really interesting because you can actually see that the push protocol contract is an upgradable contract. So it goes everywhere from getting into the proxy, they're using a transparent upgradable pattern, and eventually through the implementation, you will get into the actual EPNS contract, which is somewhere here. Right here. So as you can see, getting into the delegate call, and then now I can actually check what's going on and why send notification wasn't working. So like I said, that was all provided by Infura because we have free archive access from them. Separately to that, just really interesting things that we're continuing to build with Infura. If you haven't done this, I just automatically connected to our Infura service through the extension. So if I wanted to, I could deploy to any of those Infura endpoints associated with my account just through here. So, etc. You do need to put your wallet address because you have to pay gas. But yeah, that was a really brief or quick overview. I always do something wrong on my live stream. So I guess that's where we got to with me not working the debugger correctly. Oh, I did want to say one thing actually. So that experience is in the CLI. I'm really excited to say we're actually, this is in progress, should be released in our next version, porting that experience over into VS Code itself. So if you want to debug transactions locally, you can already do this. Fetch external, which allows you to debug transactions from like other projects, protocols, etc., is now being pulled in. So as you can see, we are debugging the CryptoPunks sale. Here's another one. So the Axie Infinity hack, you can also see and debug through here. But that's coming soon. Anyways, I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know how to share my screen. But that's all I have to say. That was really fast. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. It's always a pleasure. That's some really cool stuff you showed off there. So next up, Clarissa, you want to take the stage?
Sure. Yeah. I think I'm on the stage, the virtual stage. Thanks for having me. I love the Infura community, so it's awesome to be here. So I'm Clarissa Watson. I'm a senior technical writer here at Consensus. You can catch me on Twitter at Bluest Wind. I tweet about. I mainly just like retweet all things Web3, and yeah, I like poetry and fashion and botany as well. So you'll find that like mixed in. Before Consensus, I was at the Graph Protocol. Got into Web3 because I was absolutely hooked on the promise of owning my own data, and really just drawn to the power of blockchain technology, which is this like new database that allows software to be protocols that can be community owned. And so today I lead content strategy for the Consensus developer tooling product portfolio, which includes Truffle and Infura and Diligence, who we will be discussing today. So Diligence is a blockchain security company. They have an auditing service, got just a wicked team of veteran auditors that can really just break your code apart for the greater good, of course. And they also have two tools that we'll discuss today, Fuzzing and Scribble. So I'll be presenting a guide that we recently created, the Diligence Security Tooling Guide. It features 22 tools from across Web3. and when to use them. So the different phases of your smart contract development lifecycle, and what tools to use and when. Because security is top of mind for developers, of course. I'm going to share my screen, and I want to start off by talking about share my entire screen. I'm new to Crowdcast, guys, so bear with me. Can you see my screen?
We can't see it yet.
No, not
Okay,
yet.
let's try again. Share. How about now? No?
No.
It says choose what to share, and I say entire screen, and then I click share. Not sure what's going on.
Does it say you hover over your picture in Crowdcast and then you click? Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's not my screen though.
I'm sharing here, Clarissa. Do you want me to pull up the guide?
I wanted to start with, I had a couple other little things I wanted to share.
Okay, great. Let me pull that up then.
Do you want me to? Okay, so you'll. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone. I wanted to share this tweet just to kind of like kick it off. Oh, I put it in our Slack, Coogan, but I'll put it
Beautiful.
here in the chat. Like I said, I wanted to kind of discuss what inspired the guide. And what inspired it was this security best practices that I'm going to share. So, all right, so we're building in Web3. Obviously, products have to be beautiful and easy to use, but they need to be secure. And I saw this tweet from Vitalik last week after the downfall of FTX. And where he says, so the centralized anything is evil by default. Use DeFi and self-custody ethos did very well this week, but remember that it too has risks, bugs in security or bugs in smart contract code. So, Coogan, if you want to share the second link, which is the Ethereum smart contract security best practices. So this is, I'll wait for Coogan to put it up, but this is a best practice guide and repo that the Diligence team has been working on for years now. And I'll just wait for, oh, no, not quite that one. I'll
Sorry,
just
I can't
share
find the link there.
I'll share it in I've just shared it in Slack.
Great.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks for all your patience with the technical stuff. So, all right, what inspired the guide? We'll get to the guide, but what inspired it? Well, obviously security is top of mind. And the amazing team at Diligence has been working on this repo. You'll notice that it's on GitHub, really just accumulating all their knowledge, and not just of tools, but of what's required to make sure that your smart contracts are secure. Coogan, you can kind of just like flip through this, and I can give a brief overview. So this smart contract best practice guide has been, I think it's one of the most visited pages within the Diligence site, and is really constantly being updated with tips for smart contract testing, and it's also being published in Vietnamese, and so reaching global impact. So we thought, okay, this has been such a great resource to the community. How can we level it up? And we knew that we wanted to focus on security tools, because maybe at the time of maybe you're not ready for an audit. Maybe you want to use some tools before deployment, or maybe you're already on mainnet and you just want to keep things running smoothly. So on that note, I will drop into the chat and I will share it with you once more, Coogan, the Diligence Security Tooling Guide. You guys can check out the link there. I'll wait for Coogan to share the screen. You can access it right from the page that you can see right now. So essentially, the Diligence Security Tooling Guide was really created for builders to navigate this emergent blockchain security space by outlining the top tools available to them at any stage of development. So these tools are the tools featured here. You'll see if you scroll down, Coogan, we really wanted to bring together some of the top security companies in Web3. So like I mentioned, the guide features some diligence tools, so scribble and fuzzing, and some other consensus tools, Truffle and MythX. But also, you'll probably notice some other familiar faces there. We've got Open Zeppelin, we've got Immutify, Gnosis Safe, which is recently rebranded as Safe. So really just like the best of the best in this guide. And so it's let's maybe go to the contents page, if you will, Coogan. Thank you. So as you can see, the guide is quite comprehensive, quite extensive, but extremely actionable. So we're always here thinking about how can we improve the developer experience, how can we give them the tools they need to build great products that are secure for their own interest, but for, just like Vitalik said, for the end user. So we broke it down into two phases: the development phase, which has 3 sub phases: unit testing, which is a type of testing when you're in pre-deployment; property-based testing; and then preparing your smart contract for an audit. The next phase is the post-development phase. So once you're live on mainnet and your smart contract is deployed and you've got people interacting with it, it's always great to have a monitoring tool in place. So we've got those tools there, and then responding to security incidents, secure access control and administration, and then coordinating bug bounties just for ongoing security. So maybe that's at a really high level. Maybe let's scroll down and we can get into some of the actual tools. So a nice little blurb about who the Consensus Diligence team is. Unit testing for smart contracts, like I said. So these are just different approaches. So a great tool for that. Truffle, we've got Foundry. Emily quickly shouted out to the debugger and her presentation. We've got Brownie for those Python-based frameworks. I should note that all of the tools in this guide are, definitely favor Solidity, but also Rust. And so we've also included honorable mentions, because in putting this guide together, there was just so much amazing stuff going, or amazing tools being built, and it was almost difficult to decide who we would feature, and so honorable mentions are obviously there. So maybe let's continue to scroll down. The content is very descriptive, so it'll tell you what the tool is. There's links to access them directly, whether it's right on their GitHub repo or their website. And I guess that really covers it. Hopefully, really encourage everyone to download the guide. It's completely free. It's really a great way to pick and choose the tools that you need for your smart contract development, so that security is top of mind. I guess I'll kind of wrap it up there, and can certainly take any questions. So yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah, Clarissa, this guide is so cool. And I just wanted to reiterate and ask you a question that these are not just consensus tools, correct? The tools in this guide are not just limited to consensus tools?
No, there's 22 in total, 3 of which are from consensus. So like I said, the rest come from our friends at Open Zeppelin, our friends at Tenderly. Really wanted to ensure that we were accurately capturing the full scope of tools that are available in the industry. And security, it can be a bit intimidating, and it's not always the coolest topic, because it often implies some kind of scary topics like vulnerability or hacks or losses. And really through this guide want to encourage everyone to embrace security. Doesn't matter what level of developer, smart contract developer you are. If you just started, if you're a veteran, security is really important to everyone. And this guide is for novice to veteran coders, and it really features lots of tools throughout the entire industry.
Great.
Awesome.
So we'll put that link again in the chat for folks. You can sign up. It's a really great way to get all these tools from, like Clarissa was saying, the top folks in the industry. Yeah, thank you again so much, Clarissa, for coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, because mainnet is a jungle. The stakes are so high when you push to mainnet. Security is absolutely essential, right, Clarissa? For instance, in 2016, it was just a couple of lines of code that caused the DAO hack and 60 million in losses and a hard fork in Ethereum. And that's just like a couple of lines of code,
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So security tools such as fuzzing and Scribble and formal manual audits are absolutely essential to operationalize your smart contract and go to mainnet. So thank you so much, Clarissa. Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, Kugin. I think we're gonna have Kacie up next. Kacie, do you want to take the stage?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely. You want to share your?
Yes, I would love to share my screen. Great job, Clarissa, by the way. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Absolutely.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm ready to take the stage if I'm allowed to. Am I good? Can I start?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, I'm ready to start. So hey guys, my name is Kacie. I am the co-founder of Learn Web3, which is sort of an initiative to onboard as many developers into the space as possible. So this is typically where I do my introduction and talk about myself. But I need you guys to trust me a little bit. I want to kind of have my introduction in the middle of my talk today. I think it works a little better. So yeah, trust me. I promise it'll be good. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm ready to start. So today's talk, sort of what I'm talking about today, is essentially how to onboard users into Web3. And this will be more of a marketing talk, Web3 marketing talk. So if you're in the audience and if you're a builder, if you're a developer, and you have a great idea, and you're wondering, how do I actually get users to use my product, right? This talk is for you. And I know there are a lot of people in my experiences, people I've talked to where they have the greatest idea, they built the greatest protocol, but they kind of fall short on, getting people to actually, use their idea and have it be implemented and widely used across the space. So that's what this talk is going to be about, and I'm excited to bring that to you. So before we do that, before I talk about how to onboard users into Web3, and this is where I'm going to do my introduction, I want to talk a little bit about myself, a little bit about myself and my story, my own success, and I really want to give you guys a reason to listen to me. And to do that, I'm going to tell my story. So, again, my name is Kacie. I started off as a student last year. I graduated. I'm 24 years old. I graduated with my degree in computer science last year, and after graduation, I was actually supposed to work at a bank. I was supposed to be a developer at my local bank. The job was lined up, but over the summer, I jumped into the Web3 rabbit hole. Uh, as you know, the summer was like very big for Web3. NFTs were really big at the time, and sort of I decided to jump into the rabbit hole, and I made the decision to become a Web3 student to learn everything I can about Web3 development over the summer. To learn about node providers, to learn about everything I would need to do to be a developer in the space. And as I was learning, I decided to create this small project at the time called Learn Web3 DAO. And when I created the project, it was quite an experience to make a product, to make a project in Web3, and then kind of realize, oh, this is the best thing in the world, but we don't really have users. So at the time of creation of Learn Web3 DAO, we had no users, no money, no funding, and I was looking at all these massive projects like Infura, Developer DAO, and I was like, gosh, how do these people build these amazing communities? And I set on my journey to go ahead and learn how to do that. And to this day, we now have about 60,000 users in the space. People build with us every day. We graduate 300 users per month. And we're sort of in this scenario where we have sort of a bit more adoption. And I'm going to talk about, how you guys can do that, how you guys can build a project and get adoption. So that's what we're talking about today, and that's a little bit about me. So I'm actually pretty young, and I started my journey not that long ago. So how do you grow in this Web3 space? How do you grow in this climate, especially in this day and age, especially in this bear market? So essentially, there are like 2 or 3 things you need to know. Number one, the first thing you need to know is you can build the best project in the world. You can use all of the best tech. You can really be innovative in this space, but not exactly be successful. You sort of have to learn how to, number one, create value for users. And number two, you have to understand content creation. So one, the first thing you need to know is you have to figure out how to acquire users. And then to do that, I'd say the biggest thing you need to do is to create value. You need to have a product, a project that creates a lot of value, but that's not enough. You have to also understand content creation and how to get your message across in this space. So, and to do that, I think you need to build trust. And sorry, I'm kind of fumbling my words a little bit, but essentially to grow in the Web3 ecosphere, to grow in this space, what you really need to learn is, number one, you have to have a product. You have to create, as a developer, create something that has value that people can use. And number two, you have to sort of understand content creation, how to get your message across. The space sort of exists, I'd say, mostly on Lens, Twitter, and Discord. So you have to be in all of those locations and build a lot of content around there to show off your product. And once you sort of get the ball rolling a little bit, you have to understand how to find your users. So you've built this project, right? You're dabbling a bit in content creation. How do you find your users now? To do that, to find your users, I would say that this is where content creation comes in, and sort of being active in the space, joining these community calls, meeting new people, networking, right? Talking to people on Twitter, talking to people on Lens, basically networking, and then finding out where your product that you've built is useful. And once you find 1 or 2 or 3 people that are like, hey, this is awesome, this is great, great, you have a case. Your product has some usage, and that's where you sort of get into the next step, which is what I like to call engineering a Web3 user experience. So we're sort of in this space now, and I think the hardest part about trying to, be a developer in this space and trying to build a project to completion is that there's a lot of mistrust in the space right now. So you sort of have to combat that and really understand how to engineer a Web3 user experience, an experience where, people come onto your website, whatever the project is, and they're like, okay, this looks cool, this looks awesome, and fall in love with the user experience and sort of keep using your product, and basically build a bit of a connection, a bit of trust. So essentially, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. Essentially, what you need to do is you need to, number one, create a project. Number two, make it be valuable. Number three, sort of create content around it. Be on Twitter, be on Lens, network, talk to people, find your users. And number four, build trust. Building trust is very important in sort of engineering user experience around being trustworthy developers. And so that's sort of it's very vague, but that's the launch pad. The launch pad into basically what I think you need to do to start to become to basically have to basically have your product be mass adopted. And I apologize for fumbling my words a bit. I actually put these slides together recently, but yeah. So marketing is important in this space. Onboarding is important. You have to create something of value. You have to create content around it, and you have to build trust. And to build trust, be in these communities, build a community of your own, talk. And once you do those things, you sort of get on your path to having your product be used by many people. And if anyone has any questions on this, or maybe wants to, I could talk about this a bit later. Just ask me. I'm on Twitter a lot, and yeah, if you're a developer and you're in the audience and you have an idea, talk to me, and I could honestly help you engineer an experience to where a lot of people can use your product and be happy. And that's all from me for today.
Kacie, would
Cool.
you be able to talk a little bit about Web3 DAO and the learning journey that you all have built there?
Yes. So yeah, great. I could talk about that really quickly. So basically, Learn Web3 DAO is sort of this place, this magical place where you could be a Web3 developer. And essentially what we do is we take you from zero to hero on how to be a Web3 developer. We teach you, and I can go ahead and go to the website really quickly. I meant this talk to sort of to be a bit more about onboarding, but what we do at Learn Web3 is we take you through this progression track, and we take you from freshman, sophomore, junior to senior. So if you're a developer and you are interested in becoming sort of breaking into the space, what you could do is you basically do our levels, do our programming levels, and you go through the questions and you answer all the questions, and you essentially build with us. And what we do is we have thousands and thousands of students that come with us every single day, and they build apps with us. This is our I believe this one is our D app. This is our NFT video project. And essentially what students do is they go through us and they build and they sort of progress through all the tracks. So the first track is pretty basic. It's the freshman track, and I believe all you do there is, I think the hardest thing you do is make a simple NFT. But the other tracks are a bit more complicated. So the freshman track is where you're learning the basics of Web3. The sophomore track is basically where you kind of learn how to a bit more about the dApp tooling, right? How to build, more efficient dApps like whitelist, DAO, etc. The junior track is a bit more of the ecosystem, and the senior track is, if you're interested in security, and if you're interested in, how to actually hack smart contracts, right? Or to sort of make sure your own project is secure. So that's a little bit about what you will learn here. And then after that, we have, more specific professional tracks where you can, that are more, I'd say, job focused, where people go through these tracks with the intention of getting, a job. And we have a bit more of those a lot more of those professional tracks coming soon. So we have one for CyberConnect coming. We have one for Stacks, Axlar, Third Web, Polygon, Ceramic. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It might have been more helpful to talk a bit about Learn Web 3. But I think the point of my talk was to sort of say that, this is a project that we built, 11 months ago, right? It didn't look this pretty to start with, but essentially we came in, we built this ugly version of this, and then we said, okay, how do we onboard users into this ecosphere, right? And that's sort of one where I was talking about marketing, but yeah, it's actually pretty useful to talk about the platform. Thank you for that, and yeah, that's all for me. Do you have any other questions? Anything I should talk about?
Well, Kacie, I just want to say Learn Web 3 is an awesome platform. I've been through it. It's like super comprehensive and hands-on too. It's so awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's only 2 of you, right, that built this entire platform?
Yeah, it's the 2 of us. So
Oh man.
yeah. This is why I'm saying, I didn't. I should have prepared my slides a bit better, but I wanted essentially to talk about this journey with you. It's been 2 of us that built this thing. Anyone in the chat could do it, right? There are some rules that you need to follow, but yeah, the 2 of us built it. We started 11 months ago, and it's been going. It's been an amazing development project from there.
That's what Web3 is really about. Just like, 2 friends putting something out there, getting a lot of traction, and like, making a real difference. Like 60,000 graduates, is that right? Or
60,000 users, couple thousand
users?
like full graduates. We have lots of graduates. I noticed in the chat, Greg, I think it's Zeger. He says he is lucky, man. I am alone. Dude, have a conversation with me on Twitter. I can help you find a co-founder. Anyone can do this. And I like what I agree with you 100%. It's insane how 2 people can come with a project in Web3 and sort of just blow up from there, right? And yeah, I wish I could do my whole little presentation again, but these are sort of the rules that I think you need to get to that point, minus having a co-founder. He is so lucky to have a companion. I agree. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna give the stage back to you, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, Kacie, super awesome. And the platform's completely free. It's crazy, and it's gamified. So once you complete a track, you actually get an NFT. So yeah, amazing platform you all built.
Thank you.
So cool.
Sunny asks, can you share your Twitter again? I just put it in the chat.
Yeah. We'll actually be setting out the slides that contain everyone's social handle.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. So I think that's everyone, Coogan, right? We should.
Yep, that's everybody.
Yeah. All righty. Cool. Thank you. So, hey, Coogan, did you see any questions in the crowd that we want to address?
I did. Sara, are you still here on the call? Oops, Sara's not here. So why don't we start with this one, Chris? Someone asked, it's easy for the public to get access, but I think we need a guide to get a closer look at the system. Do you have a plan to make a guide for beginners?
That's in regards to IPFS?
This is for Infura.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we actually just revamped our Getting Started with Infura guide. So basically, if you just Google Getting Started with Infura, we have a guide that will walk you through setting your first Ethereum JSON RPC call. And it will also include a full stack application that allows you to send transactions, to upload to IPFS, and also to mint an NFT. So we'll be sure to send that out after the call, or you could just Google that term, but be sure to check it out.
Perfect.
And we also
That
have
is
like
great.
really comprehensive docs if you want to check them out as well. Docs.infura.io.
Awesome. Perfect. So everybody check out that guide there. And we had an IPFS question. And so someone asked whether the Infura IPFS solution working with the file API and the IPFS module. And that is something that we are planning on. So look for that feature in the future. We're always doing developments and letting people know about that. And I believe there's one more IPFS question. Nope, I believe that's it. So there's a question here about decentralization, which I think will be a great one to answer as well. Someone is asking, what is your idea about real decentralization from Faramaz? If you want to answer that one, Chris, or anybody on the call.
Real decentralization. Okay. Well, thank you for the softball question. That's an easy one. So I guess the idea behind decentralization was part of the founding principles of the internet. But over time, so many compromises were made that we ended up with these centralized walled gardens, right? So a good example of why centralization is wrong, or is dangerous, I mean, is, for instance, the 2017 Amazon Web Services S3 outage. So you have this big enterprise company, and they just made a small mistake, and it took down like 60% of the internet. So that's why having single points of failure is something we want to get away from. So basically, I think decentralization from a philosophic standpoint is you're avoiding the concentration of power and responsibility and that single point of failure by bringing in more of a broad community approach. For instance, like there's a concept of going like multi-cloud when you host a website on like AWS or Google. If you have more than one provider, you're more robust and you're less likely to be impacted by any single failure. So we take those concepts from Web 2 and we build them in, at the base, protocol and philosophy level of Web 3. And decentralization is a spectrum. I think it happens over time. I think it's very difficult to like instantly be decentralized. You kind of have to build your community, and then people have to build their technical expertise, and then you decentralize from there, and you end up with a more robust, resilient, democratic system. So, I mean, yeah. Did you have anything to add, Coogan? But it was kind of a broad question. I wasn't sure which way to go with it.
Sure. I'm just going to share a link here for the decentralized Infura announcement, which I believe is appropriate here if you want to talk about that.
Sure, definitely. Do you want to share your screen? Or...
I just put the link in the chat there.
Okay, yeah. So, and like, yeah, so in that light, Infura can be considered a point of centralization currently because it's difficult to run a highly available, highly scalable node that has tens of millions of users. You need a complicated, scalable, robust microservices setup to handle that kind of traffic. So Infura has an initiative to decentralize by taking that same robust enterprise infrastructure and creating multiple service providers where we could route traffic to the exact service provider that is best suited to serve a specific request, whether that's because of geographic location or other factors such as latency or whatever, basically that reduces that single point of centralization and allows you to have that scalability while still achieving decentralization.
Awesome. Sounds great. That might be it for questions.
Cool. Yeah, so just to recap, thank you again, Clarissa, for that great rundown on the new security tool guide. Going to mainnet, it's absolutely essential to have a manual, formal audit on your smart contracts. And there's also a lot of automated tools that kind of help catch security issues earlier in the dev cycle. And thank you, Sara, for speaking about IPFS. If you want to work with Consensus and Infura, we are actually hiring a Golang backend engineer focusing on the interplanetary file system. Thank you, Kacie. Everyone be sure to check out learnweb3.io. It's free, it's gamified, and it's really awesome content. So yeah, be sure to check it out. And thank you, Kacie, for putting that resource out there in the community. And be sure to follow all these lovely people on Twitter. So Emily Lynn from Truffle has a fantastic webinar series where she's building a NFT rental marketplace from scratch in front of you live. And it's pretty amazing. She's had, I think, 8 or 9 episodes so far. The next one is on December 1st, I believe. We'll be sending out this link, but we multi-stream to YouTube, LinkedIn, a bunch of different platforms. So be sure to check it out. And be sure to check us out on Discord, Twitter, and YouTube. So yeah, thank you, everyone. And just want to give another shout out to Lauren and congratulate her for joining the team and say we're excited to have you part of the Web3 dev community.
Thank you so much, Chris. Excited to be here. And thanks everyone for joining and listening along today.
All right, that's our show. Keep your eyes peeled for our slides and the relevant links. Thanks again, like Chris was saying, to all our guests. Thank you to Lauren. Thank you to Clarissa. Thank you to Emily. Thank you to Kacie. And stick around for our next community call next month. Thanks everybody so much. Have a great rest of your day.